Yeah. Hi, friends. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Dawn did my board today, and she's doing great, and I'm really proud of her. Welcome to Teddy Unscripted. I had a really, in my mind, interesting show planned out for today, but something kind of interesting happened yesterday and today that I then told my friends about, and I was like, oh, I want to talk about this right now because this is going on in my world, my friends' world, our friendship circle, my generational circle that I think we need to talk about. I think maybe get a little bit off our chests. And that is the new apocalypse of exes texting back. It's a well-known thing that, you get drunk. I know a lot of people are drinking during quarantine. And when people get drunk, they like to text their exes, whatever. I think it's a really interesting mixture of what time is it? 10:30, because I just started 10:30 in the morning. I have gotten already a message from one of my exes. And by the way, I don't condone this. It's weird. It's uncalled for. It's uncomfortable. But I wanted to talk about it because I know after asking my friends about it that a lot of people are going through this. I don't understand why. I understand that during the quarantine, you want some kind of human contact. Wow, I'm like slouching really badly. You want some kind of human contact. You want some kind of, I'm single and I'm quarantined and I want to be able to talk to someone and I already know I had a connection with this person, but at the same time, they're your ex. Maybe for a reason. And I can't speak on the guys portion of it. I don't know if girls are doing it as well. I'm sure they are. I can only speak on a girl's behalf from guys because that's who I am. And I can only fight one fight at a time. It is so uncomfortable. Please stop. That's my bottom line. I'm going to say it right now. Please stop. It is so uncomfortable especially as someone who is currently dating someone, to be on a FaceTime with him or like a Zoom call with him and get a notification and, you can be like, oh, who's texting you? Because, we have the same friends. Oh, who's texting you? Oh, my ex-boyfriend who I haven't talked to in like 3 years. Why is he texting you? I don't know. So now I'm at the crossroads. Do I respond? Do I say, am I a civil person? And I'm like, hi, are you okay? Do you need something? Do I say, stop texting me? That sounds in my mind, that sounds a little crazy. Like, hi, don't text me again. Or do I ignore them? Which is kind of where I lean towards because, I really have nothing to say to them. But then you can be seen as you get what happened to a friend of mine where she had someone that she had never even dated, some guy that she used to work with that at some point we guess had a crush on her or now has decided that he did, even though they haven't spoken since we were in high school and she's now in grad school. And he's messaging her, hey, what's up? And she took the same route I do of just kind of like, I have nothing to say to you, I'm going to ignore you. Which I understand ghosting isn't fun, but I have nothing to say to you. I'm sorry. And so she ignored him and he did the whole wow, I downloaded this app just to talk to you again. Whatever. And she was like, okay, well, that's great. I'm going to ignore you because I have nothing to say to you. We're never even really friends, just coworkers. And then did, the really great thing of where he just, cursed her out. Was like, well, if you're going to be like that, meh, 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 meh. By the way, if you change your mind, here's my phone number. And she was like, oh, now I'm really not going to change my mind. But, fun stuff. And at the end, I think he ended it with, I can take a hint. Sorry to bother you. Don't stop. stop. This is going to be a lesson for all people, men, women, people who are trying to be the one asking someone out, hair timers, asking someone out in a relationship. Quarantine, not quarantine, don't make yourself the victim if you get rejected. That is like number one red flag, big red flag. You get rejected, there is no victim. There were two parties, didn't see eye to eye. You're not the victim if you get rejected. And you're not the victim if you rejected someone else. There's no victim in that situation. It didn't work out. Please stop doing that. And I've seen men do it. I've seen women do it. It's not a gender thing. It's not a sex thing. It is a jerk thing. You're not a victim because you got rejected. You got rejected. Everyone gets rejected. I've gotten rejected. Everyone gets rejected. You're not a victim. But that's a rant for another day when we're not in quarantine. I'm trying not to get angry about it because it's something that, as you know, before quarantine, I worked as a bartender, and I worked at a bartender at an amazing Axe bar that I really hope we're able to safely open up soon once all this ends and our numbers are down, because I really loved working at that job. I love my coworkers. I'm actually, a small sneak peek tease, gonna have one of my old coworkers on our show next Wednesday. I am super excited about it. She is one of the most bad butt, word I can't say, women I've ever met. We've been friends for a while since I've worked at the bar. She is starting her own podcast with some other people that she works with, in a separate area that she'll tell you more about. And she was posting some of her story on Instagram the other day that she's going to talk about on her podcast. And even like things that I never knew about her, things that are just even more inspirational to that she is where she is right now, that she went through these things. I'm so excited to have her on. She is the one who inspired me to start weaponry, which, if you don't know, I've started doing weaponry and stuff, and she's one of the people that inspired me to do it. Incredible person. I'm super excited for next Wednesday. I know I keep saying it because again, just like my artist, I fangirl a little over her, even though we hang out. Well, we did hang out, and now we text all the time. But when I worked at the bar, it was a very common thing, and I'm sure other bartenders and servers will tell you the same story. You get, oh, hey, can I have your number on the receipt? Or now, as people are delivering, hey, can I have your number on the receipt? But through a drive-through window? Or when I was younger and I used to work at a coffee shop. When I first started working at the Brooklyn Cafe, I was working at a coffee shop. And all the time I would get that, even through drive-through. Put your number on the receipt. Oh, put your number on the cup. Can I have your number? And when you say no, people get very upset about it. So now that we're doing this virtually, and people have, as I've spoken of before, have a much stronger, they're braver behind a screen. You'll say a million things behind a phone screen or behind a computer screen than you ever will to someone's face. They are much more, what do you mean no? What do you mean you don't want to? Well, don't be such a bad word. And people are getting braver. And I think as the quarantine goes on, people are getting more lonely, and people are more like, oh, I need to talk to someone. Oh, remember all those good times that you had with that one person? And, you forget all the bad things that happen. You forget that maybe you hurt them really badly, or maybe they hurt you really badly. None of that stuff matters because you're lonely in the moment. And, I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. But all of a sudden you're texting this person, and now on our end, it is such an awkward position to be in. And now, I had to make the decision of, well, this isn't important to me. Should I tell my boyfriend? Of course I did, because it's not important to me. And I wanted to, especially since I'm about to talk on it on a show, I kind of wanted to make sure that wouldn't, I'm trying to think of the word to say. Not impede on him, but it wouldn't bother him that I was talking about it. Not that he controls anything. It is a coexistence, I guess. But it is, in my mind, fair to ask him, like, hey, would it bother you if I spoke about this? And as a normal human being, he's like, no. So I get to, but it's a weird conversation of my friends have to have when their ex texts them. Do I tell my boyfriend? Because in the future, maybe he'll find out that an ex texted me, even though I ignored him, and he will go off about it, which I've seen happen, which is unfair, but I've seen it happen. Or do I keep it from him? He finds out about it soon, goes off. I keep it from him. He finds about it. He doesn't care. I tell him and he freaks out and goes off, or I tell him and he doesn't care. You have to actually know who you're dating, what you're talking about, what is going on. And you have to make this discernment, or that ex could just not text you. You could just not put someone in that position, especially if it's a completely, you're probably not thinking, oh man, I've been in love with this person for years, and I just, all of a sudden during this quarantine has made me realize that I need to let them know. Most likely you're just kind of like, I'm lonely. I want someone to text. I want someone to, make me feel like $1,000,000 again. This person did it. Let's do that. And if you disagree with me, please, call in, message in. I would love to hear other people's opinions in the messages. Have you messaged your ex during this? Because I can't imagine doing that. It's just something my brain can't wrap around, the thought of being like, yeah, I'm that lonely. I want to message someone that I haven't spoken to in years and made me feel terrible about myself. But that's my experience. Not everyone ends things that way with exes. So I'd like to know what you guys think. Write a comment being like, yeah, I totally messaged my ex and now we're back together. Or, I had an ex message me, whatever. I want to know your experiences with this, because everything is out of the blue. No one knows what's happening. No one knows how long we'll be in quarantine, but no matter what happens, unless you live in Georgia, I can't say anything about that, because I don't, even if you live in Georgia and you're listening to this, don't go outside. I know they want to raise the bans. Don't go outside yet. But most likely, you're not going to be seeing that person anytime soon, unless it's like, in a parking lot waving to each other like 6 car spaces away. It's not worth it. I'm sorry, it's not. Something else that is not worth it, or maybe worth it, I don't really know. Speaking of boyfriends, my boyfriend and I went to a shooting range the other day, and whether you believe it or not, that's not the conversation right now. Went to a shooting range, and I had thought, I do archery. And so archery ranges, which are closed right now, we can't go to them, but they're huge. Even just because of the sport, you're not going to be anywhere near 6 feet near someone, because you're going to hit them by accident, obviously, but you're going to hit them with a bow. You're going to, accidentally smack them with your quiver. Like, something's going to happen. You don't really want to be super close to people in archery when you're practicing in the first place. It's an etiquette thing. And I understand why it closed down. It's not an essential business. I mean, most of the time they're either shops or they're in a public park. Mine was it was like a closed part of a park. Closed down, that's fine. I understand it's an essential business, or it's not an essential business. But there's a lot of space between people. I want you to keep that in mind. We went to a shooting range the other day, and they did do an excellent job. I must say, I don't want to, tell names or anything, but the range we went to did an excellent job. Everyone had to wait outside. To the best of their ability, they were like, no one can be in without a sales associate, making sure that you are far enough away from someone. Like, you couldn't just go in and wander around. Everyone had N95 masks on. When you walked in, you had to stand up, look straight at the security camera, pull your mask down so they had a good security image of you, which I had never even thought of, how security cameras are just absolutely basically obsolete at this point, because so many people are wearing masks, it obscures your whole face. So at this point, the fact that they had a security guard there, he was a very nice man, stand on the circle, look at the security camera, pull your mask down. At one point, I'm like, oh, it kind of defeats the purpose of a mask, because now my grimy hands are touching my mask, touching my face, pulling it down. The inside, on a sterilization level, it's not the best thing. But on a security level, I had never thought of that. Of now people walking around in Walgreens and Walmart and Target that are still open, that have security cameras everywhere. I mean, what are you going to catch? They're wearing a mask. And especially if it's just a black medical mask or a surgical mask or something, it's very, you can't really tell a person just from their eyes very often. So it's a really interesting tactic that I hadn't seen before, and it really made me think about, we always joke about, oh, looting's going to happen, but like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen soon? Because that's something that we can no longer facially identify people. How's that work? Well, no, actually, I'm not going to go into that right now because I don't have enough information on the face recognition and stuff, but I know that they had started to do it and they were getting people from speeding tickets. Kind of not working anymore. Kind of can't do that right now. But he was very nice. Take down your mask. And then they gave you hand sanitizer, which I thought was cool because that way people can't steal the hand sanitizer, which I have seen. They're not, pumping a whole bunch of it into their hand. He gave you hand sanitizer. You were able to go into the store. Inside the store, again, you were with a sales associate. We went straight where I needed to. They had X's on the floor. Everyone was being very good. Everything was wiped down before and after you got it. Each of the lanes, you had to skip a lane between people. So you had, I think, a little over 6 feet actually in between people. It was all very sterile, all very, safe and good. But outside, it was such a strange sight that inside they were nice and safe and everyone was far apart and everything got wiped down and they would give you hand sanitizer and, everything was being sterilized. And then outside, and inside they had signs. Sorry, I want to say this too. That said, if you are not wearing a mask, you cannot enter the premises. And they had 2 separate lines. One line on this side was for people going to the shooting range. One line was for people who were just going to go in the store and look around, which I see the plus side of, because that way at least you're limiting how many people are on that side. You're not going to have everyone crammed onto one side. I don't really understand why they split it up that way, but I get the reasoning of why they would have 2 lines, if that makes any sense at all. But inside, sterile, everyone's far apart. Outside, people were, their masks weren't even on. They were down around their chins. They're just talking. They're right next to each other, shaking hands. No one's wearing gloves because it's hard to wear gloves, something like that. They're just talking, masks down, right next to each other. I saw them leaning on each other. I'm like, well, I know for a fact that you guys didn't, come here together, because one of them would, we were sitting outside. We were sitting in our car trying to be away from people, which was another thing that just shocked me in general, that you had to drive there. It's not really something I think that you can walk to. And we were sitting in our car trying to be away from everyone else until we got our text message to go in. And these people who very obviously had cars there, we would see them park and walk up, were just standing outside, not sitting in their car, not trying to keep 6 feet distance or anything. So it was I don't want to speak on anything of, you're stupid. I don't want to say that. I think it, but I don't want to say it. But if you truly feel that close to someone, that this random person who's also going to a store with you is safe and you can pull down your masks and talk to each other, that's, you do you, I guess. I don't want to positively enforce it. I want to negatively enforce it, but I don't want to be mean. But you're stupid. Don't do that. But it was so interesting that outside these people didn't care about it, and then the second you walked inside, they were militant strict of oh yeah, no, I want to go with this salesperson so he keeps me away from everyone, and I want to go to this counter because people are near me, and I want to go to this lane because it has 2 lanes between us. It was absolutely hilarious to me. And then once you're in there, it's fine and whatever, and then once you left, you had to have someone escort you out because they didn't want you just looking around without a sales associate near you, and they gave you hand sanitizer and you left and it was fine, whatever. And yeah, it was just a very, I can't say interesting enough to see that juxtaposition versus what I'm used to at an archery range where everyone's separated. No one even wants to be near each other because that's just not how the sport works. We're all yelling across the range to each other. And then why is one considered essential, not the other? I understand, if you go into you're very pro weapons and, one will be more essential because one is easier to use, one is more of a leisure sport. I have friends who make money off of the competitions I do in archery, so to them it is pretty essential, but I can't really fight one way or the other. I get it. And it just makes you think about, okay, well, what about the people you see outside of Target? Target, they're an essential business. And for their part, they're doing as much as they can, I think. I don't know very many other things, at least at my Target, that they could do. They have glass up between the people when you check them out. They have the X's on the floor. They have arrows on the floor. I've heard from some of our other producers who work at Publix that, they do as much as they can. Like I said, they have glass, they have arrows, they have the X's of where to stand. They have it in Whole Foods too. I've done it, and I've seen someone just immediately just walk straight up to me, be right next to me, put their stuff down on the conveyor belt next to me, and then walk away. And I had to tell them, I was like, get away from me. We're not doing this. And the person had scrubs on, a mask on, goggles on, and I would think that they were a medical professional because, sometimes you medical professionals, I've seen them go in before their shift to pick up snacks and stuff, and that's dope. That's awesome. Go pick up stuff. You're clean. The fact that this person was wearing strange goggles, it was just one of those things that something felt off in my gut that I was like, I don't think this person is a medical professional, at least currently, with what they're wearing and how they're acting. The fact that they walked straight up next to me, 3 inches from me, and put all their stuff down and then walked away. It was an off thing. But everywhere else, people either are listening militant strict or they're not listening at all. And they're just, like I said, the people, our interns from Publix are telling us, our producers, people aren't following the arrows that you walk up and down the aisles. People aren't following the X's. There's only so much you can do. I've heard stories of someone who's working at one of the restaurants where you pick up your food and someone reached over and grabbed her mask off her face because she couldn't understand what she was saying. I mean, it is incredibly insane what is happening right now. And to see the stores doing all they can, and that's, one of the reasons I brought up the shooting range is because the store is doing so much and people are just absolutely reversing everything they're doing by not caring and not listening to the rules as much as they can. In certain stores, you're going to be a little more, I wouldn't want to break the rules in a gun store either. But in Publix and in a Walmart, they're and it got me thinking about the security, like I said before, of the security cameras can't do anything with the masks. You're getting braver. You're not following the arrows. You're not following the X's. You're not thinking about other people's safety. There was a woman who got arrested in Idaho for, I don't know if she had, but the group that she was in, they're in a group of anti-vaxxers. And they had organized a meetup for all of them to bring their children to a closed park. And a policeman showed up, and there's a video that these people posted, it's their video of the policeman saying, hey, the park's closed, you can't be here, and then yelling at him saying, why not, it's public property, all that, and them saying, the city closed this down, you can't be here. And one of them ended up getting arrested, detained, taken away by the cop in handcuffs, is what I can say, because they wouldn't leave the park. And I mean, in my mind, I was like, they need to, something needs to be done we need to call CPS or something on them. They are putting their children in such danger because they, want them to go to the playground for a little bit? I mean, even if you live in an apartment building, you have some type of yard or a balcony or something if you want your kids to get vitamin D or you want to get vitamin D that badly. And if you don't, I have family in the middle of Manhattan who, they don't have a balcony, they don't have a backyard, they don't have anything. They just go on a walk. I mean, I'd rather no one go on walks because it's hard to social distance, but go on a walk. There have been reports showing that 1,400 New Yorkers are snitching on other New Yorkers for not following social distancing. Go on a walk, social distance away from anyone who's near you. And don't go to a public park. And don't fight with a police officer when he tells you to leave. These things are closed for a reason because the virus can live on metals and plastics and wood, and gosh knows it's going to live on wood that is so porous. Just be safe. Be safe. Don't be stupid. I appreciate the stores doing what they can to try and protect us and to try and put their rules in as much as they can. They can't control what you do as a consumer, though. They can only give you guidelines. You as a consumer have to be smart enough to say, look at that arrow on the floor. I should follow it. Pretend it's IKEA. You have to follow the arrows to get out or else you get lost in there forever and become an employee. That's how the employees come around, right? Pretend it's IKEA. Follow the arrows. Be like, oh, I shouldn't go the arrow. Follow. Or X's, CVS had the little things on the floor to stay away from each other way before this happened. The little mats that you put your feet on saying next person here. Pretend it's like that. It takes so little effort to follow these rules. It's not like they're forcing us to paint our faces and go screaming into the night. It takes so little effort. Why can't we just follow them a little bit? Just take a step back. It's so easy. That's really all I have for today. I got like 5 minutes left of my last little message. My last lines are, don't text your exes because it's weird. I know it was a weird segue, but don't text your exes because weird. It puts us in a really weird position. And it just makes everyone uncomfortable. Don't make people uncomfortable by going in. Follow the rules that these stores have set. If you have to go out, it's so easy. They're asking you to do less work and get less near people. People are gross anyway. Follow the rules even when you're outside the store, because then you're just putting yourselves in danger for no reason. You're undoing everything these stores have done. I don't care if you're outside, inside, walking, whatever. Follow the examples that people are putting forward. Be like a New Yorker, be a snitch, because apparently that's what we are now. Follow the rules, be safe, and be sure to stay tuned next week, because like I said, we have a very exciting show on Wednesday. We're going to bring over one of my friends who has her new podcast going on about self-defense, what she's been through in her life. A few of her trainers and teachers that are going to be on. I'm very excited about that. And on Friday, we have a very special show with one of Freddie's old friends that I'm very excited about. I don't want to give anything away about it, but it's going to be extraterrestrial. So definitely stay tuned. I'll see you Wednesday, and stay tuned on 2020. We have What's the Buzz with B coming up right after this, and I will see you guys on Wednesday.
The benefits of CBD are well known, but not all CBD is equal. At your CBD store, our award-winning products are made from organic industrial hemp. Your CBD store products are third-party tested for purity, and we offer a wide variety of products to meet your needs and preferences. From water solubles, topical creams and oil drops, to pet products. Visit your CBD store and let our knowledgeable staff guide you. Your CBD store.